Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. I'm your host, Marguerite Crespillo, and I started this podcast simply dedicated to calling people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now, let's dive into the world of real estate. Hello, everybody. Guess what? It's time for Real Estate Real World. And today, of course, we get to talk to all the cool people. But I'm excited today about this guest because I've actually used an amazing program that he created years and years and years ago, and it's been really foundational in my business. And so I'm excited to talk to him. So let's hear a little bit about Jeff. Jeff Shamus is the CEO of AllClients, a CRM company that he founded 21 years ago. Wow, time flies. With a clear mission to make customer relationship management easy and effective for small businesses. He believes that CRM software should function as an intuitive helper, supporting business owners in their day-to-day work rather than adding complexity. Recognizing that many small business owners are experts in their field, but not necessarily in technology, AllClients provides a full suite of contact management products from simple solutions to comprehensive CRMs, all designed with simplicity and ease of use at their core. Outside of leading AllClients, Jeff plays guitar, keyboards, and sings in a Beatles tribute band, is an avid Cincinnati Reds fan, enjoys RVing and golfing, and is the owner of the world's oldest snowball, which I'm going to have to hear about that. He also enjoys spending time with his border collie, Jojo. So welcome to the show, Jeff.
Hey, good to be here.
All right. What is the world's oldest snowball?
Okay. So I used to live in San Jose, California, and it does not snow in San Jose ever. Right. So I think I was 12 or 13 and we had a snowstorm in San Jose.
A fluke.
And so, snow everywhere, snow on the lawn. And we went out and did what any kid would do who's not used to snow and make snowballs and snowmen and have snowball fights and that whole thing. And as it started melting, I didn't want to see it go. So I made a snowball and I put it in the freezer. Okay. And that was 40 or 45 or almost 50 years ago.
And you still have it?
And I still have it. So what happened is, at 20 years or so, the local news from San Jose came out and interviewed my mom, and she took it out of the freezer and showed it. And then at 25 and at 30 and at 35 and at 40. And I was going to, or I still am maybe someday going to make a website called, and I think I have worldsoldestsnowball.com. But if you just type in world's oldest snowball, you'll find my mom and you'll find me and talking about it. And, we're in the Guinness Book of World Records and all kinds of fun things.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I was like, what do you mean the world's oldest snowball? That's so cool. The fact that you've kept it all those years and as a safe place, you haven't had like freezer outages or power outages or anything where you lost it?
No, not. I think anytime there's been a problem, my mom moved it from freezer to freezer and it still exists. And then we moved up to Reno and now it's in Reno.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh, well,
yeah. It wasn't the idea wasn't, hey, let's save this forever. It was just,
well, now it's a thing.
Yeah, now it's a thing. But before it was just, let's keep it going for another day. Or, I don't want to, I hated to see the snow melt.
I love that so much. That's fantastic. Well, outside of being the owner of the world's oldest snowball, you've created a CRM that I personally have used. I don't know how long. I think it's been probably at least 15 years. Maybe you have to look up in
Yeah,
your charts and
long
see how long
time.
I've been a customer. But I remember how I originally met you was through Joe Stump because I was in his coaching program 30 years ago. And I remember when he has it. It's called My Clients is what he uses, right? It's like
Right.
a white label of the program. And I have literally been using it the whole time. I mean, I've strayed a few times and tried some other stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm like, nah, I'm just going to stick with what's easy and what I know. So how did that whole thing come about? How did you end up developing the CRM?
Well, there's the long version and the short version, but I'll give you the medium version.
All right.
So I had a company before AllClients, and it was in the healthcare uh, area, software company. And my partner, uh, my partner at the time was like a trained developer, and it was our company. And we hired people, and we hired this kid that was working at the movie theater, and he was 16, and he was just wanted to get into programming. And his name was Todd, and Todd is now my partner in AllClients. To fast forward, but Todd was the whiz kid that worked at my healthcare company, and whenever I needed something that my partner said was not possible, I'd go to Todd, and Todd would build it. So he was like he just would build something, and then I would take it to my partner and say, well, Todd built this, can we use this? And he says, well, that's not technically correct. I'm like, well, but will it work? Yes,
Yeah.
it'll work, and it won't break anything. Okay, so that I don't care if it's technically correct or not.
Yeah.
And after the healthcare company, Todd and I got together and started AllClients, and 21 years, here we are.
Yeah,
So,
it's and what's funny is, I do a lot of speaking and training and teaching. And I always talk about the value of your database. And I'm still amazed all these years later, and I'm in the real estate industry, obviously, is that how many agents don't have a database and they don't do
yeah.
anything with it. And then when I show them my famous story that I shared with you about Linda Buckmaster that I've talked about many times on the show, of the value of her as a client and all these years later. And here's the funny thing. Oh, I've tried all these different databases and none of them, not one of them has the referral tree that you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my favorite part of AllClients. I don't even know 90% of the stuff that's in there. As a matter of fact, you and I were talking the other day and you're like, well, did you know this? I'm like, no. Did you know that? Did you know? No, no. You're like, well, let me show you how. And so it's amazing to me that I mean, I know I'm among the norm of people who only utilize a small percentage of what.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a little off subject, but not. I was talking to. We have this like weekly at EXP. We have this like weekly influencer mastermind call or whatever, and everybody's always asking, "Did you record it? Did you record it? Can I get the recording? I couldn't make it." And so Brian, who runs the university there, he says, I've ran the stats and nobody ever watches the recording. He goes, never. Like none of you watch it. You say you're going to watch it. None of you actually watch it. So
Well,
I
is
thought that was,
anybody watching us now?
yeah, well, I don't know. And it's just so funny to me. It's like, I mean, I think podcasts and, YouTube stuff is different. But when somebody says, oh, you're going to do this meeting and you need to record it so I can watch it, nobody goes back and watches it.
Yeah.
So if you're the higher the likelihood of you engaging and obtaining or retaining that information is when you watch stuff live, right?
Yeah. But I think
I don't know. Maybe I need to take the show live. Who knows?
you could take a a lot of times people don't want to watch an hour or a half hour, because we're talking about snowballs, and they're like, I don't care about snowballs. I want to know about, how do I manage my contacts? You could take little snippets of that, and make a 1 minute reel or something of, something profound that we talk about.
Well, I
And
think that's what's happened. That's how Reels came about, right?
yeah,
It's like, how can you consolidate? And then, of course, now you can take Chat GPT and say, can you give me the highlights?
yeah, yeah.
And have it give you the top, handful of them.
Well,
But
let me share
yeah,
with you about what we know, because you mentioned about people not using a database. The actual number, nobody knows exactly, but we've been doing this 21 years. We have a good idea, and we target very small businesses. So a very small business to us is 10 employees and fewer, right? So a single real estate agent, or a small team, or even if it's 20, but most of ours, I would say our sweet spot is 10 users and fewer. And in that, what we call a very small business, there 50% of them do not use a database. 50%. So it's 2025 and you think everybody's using some kind of database, some kind of computerized help, and people are still using spreadsheets, sticky notes, their memory, and when I talk to people like that, they say I don't have a CRM. And I said, yes, you do. You're the CRM. If you are sitting down and sending an email, you're the CRM.
yep, you're right.
Right? If you are writing a reminder to say, I need to remember to call this person back in 6 months, you're the CRM. So
Yeah.
it's not that they're not using one, they're just not using an automated or a computerized one. They become the CRM. But the good news is, and people get, they get overwhelmed. Oh, I've tried a CRM before and it didn't work out for me. Or, so if you broke it out, there's really 3 levels of people. First level, they don't use a CRM at all. Second level, they use a CRM but barely use it, and that could even be you, right? I mean, they just use the basics. And then the last column would be people that use a CRM and they're pros, and they automate everything and they use it to the max. And it's about 50% no CRM. It's about 40% barely use a CRM, and only 10% really, really take advantage of all the features in a CRM.
Yeah.
So it's not, people feel bad, or feel dumb. It's like, oh, I don't use a CRM. It's like, you're normal. If you don't use a CRM, you're normal.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't think that you're an outlier. And then the other thing, even if you use a CRM, I do an interview with our users. We pick a random person every week. I think we picked you.
Yeah.
Last week, random person, and I just talk to them and I say, what do you like? What do you not like? What are you using? What could we do better? That sort of thing. And 9 times out of 10, it's, I use your CRM. I love it, but I barely use it. I know there's so much more that I could be using, and that's kind of normal, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's if you're just using a CRM to get organized, just to put all your contacts into one place, that's good. I mean, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. That's a win. If you did that, you're ahead of 50% of the people out there who are using spreadsheets.
Well, and I think, it's interesting because, well, first of all, last week I was cleaning my garage and I found my husband's old Rolodex. So I thought that was hilarious. But I think that if people understood how valuable data is and that your database, your CRM is the most valuable thing you own. I mean, we're seeing that in this new world we live in, not new word to us, but when you look at aggregate websites like Zillow and, realtor.com, and even, Facebook, social media, I mean, those are built on compiling data. And the more data they can compile, the more that they can use that for you, against you, with you, to support you, but that data is so incredibly powerful. I mean, Zillow alone just pulled data from public records and MLSs, and now they're the number one place that consumers go to look for homes and look at the value of their home.
Mm-hmm.
All they did was compile data,
Right.
and they repurposed that data and gave it back to people and sold it back to them. Their
Mm-hmm.
own data, even. They took their own data, turned around and sold it back to the same people that they got the data from. So data is so powerful. And the more that you can get on your client, not on your clients, but the more data you can collect of the people that you work with, and knowing how to connect with them and how to reach out to them. And because I don't know about you, but my brain is for processing, not storage. So if
Mm-hmm.
they're relying on me to be the storage facility for my database, we're all in trouble.
Right. Right.
And I think it's so valuable to have that information and realize how valuable it is to you in your business, not only from a perspective of generating revenue, but from a perspective of staying in touch with people and what you can do to help them and support them when you know that you can be that resource for them.
Right. And it doesn't really have to be that complicated. Our CRM all clients can do marketing automation where a lead comes in and it automatically sends them an email, tells the salesperson, creates a to-do for them to follow up. And then 3 days later, maybe sends them another email and it kind of does the work for you. And we make it easy, but that's kind of an advanced concept where if you go back to the basics, and in fact, we just built a product this year called Easy Contacts. So we're talking to people and people say, I don't want to do email. That scares me. Or, marketing automation, that's too much. I just want to one step over a spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet. I just want a little more. So we built Easy Contacts, and Easy Contacts is just a database. Put your contacts in, and then every time you talk to them, put a note. I talked to Marguerite. We talked about this and blah, 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 right? And then next time I talk to you, I put a note again. Next time I talk to you. Now, a year later, when I want to talk to you, I pull up your account and I look at our notes and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what we talked about. Oh yeah, her favorite baseball team, her favorite restaurant, and it's more of a relationship when I pick up the phone and talk to you rather than just, hi, stranger, I don't remember anything about you, but so it makes you look smarter, and it gives you more of a relationship with your customer. And then the other thing you can do in Easy Contacts is you can set a to-do. So if you say, I'm going to buy a house in 6 months, but I'm not quite ready, I set a to-do and say, follow up with you in 5 months. So it's before, or I say, follow up with you in 3 months, but at least I've got a little more than a spreadsheet. And that is something that's not intimidating to people, where they get it. They're like, okay, I can have all my contacts in this one system, and I put notes and I put to-dos, and then I stop, and that's a win. That's much better than a spreadsheet.
Well, most definitely. And I just think that, it just, we're kind of at this age too, where everything's so overwhelming. It feels, like even when it comes to the technology, like I think about, all the social media, and like I've been trying to figure out the Chat GPT, and well, how do I make a reel, and how do I get people to actually watch my reel, and how, and at the end of the day, what is most important that I think sometimes we get away from is how important the relationships are. Those relationships are important, and people love to feel heard, right? And they love to hear their name. So, when you can call somebody up and say, oh my gosh, Jeff, remember last year we were talking and you talked about this dream and this goal you have, and now look, here we are. They feel like you care, right?
Right.
And I think, to me, that is what the All Clients has been for me, is giving me that option and that opportunity to really show people that I care about them.
Well, and if you
And
did it, if
we
you
need
had a
more of that.
spreadsheet, if you had a spreadsheet, you wouldn't remember things. I mean,
No.
you wouldn't remember all the conversations, and it might be easier to manage. It's actually not even easier to manage a spreadsheet, but uh, that's kind of how we feel is if we can get people just to get off of sticky notes and a spreadsheet and put your toe in the water. It's
Yeah.
not even a CRM, it's just a database, and start using it.
So I wonder, I guess I try to think about this with when I'm talking to real estate agents, is it like, what is it that keeps them from realizing, number one, how vitally important that is? And why are they not doing it? Like, it doesn't, like there's always that famous saying when all the agents are always asking, what CRM do you use? It's like the one that you'll use.
Right,
Right?
right.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, I preach about you guys all the time because I've used you so long, and it's a simple, and of course the infamous referral tree, which I'll have to show here in the podcast when we post it, but it's how incredibly valuable that data is. And
Mhm.
I'm going, 31 years in this business, and I have people in there. Well, here's what had just happened the other day. I have a client that him and his wife, I sold their house for them back in 2016. Helped them sell a house, then they bought a house that they're living in. And I got the nicest. I had sent out my monthly newsletter email that I get. You guys already do it. I send out I
Mhm.
don't change a thing other than put my logo in it. And I send it out on the first of the month every month. And he got it and he responded. He said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that, we've loved, staying in contact with you all these years. But my wife, Laurel, passed away in January. And she had been talking about how she wanted to call you when we got ready to downsize." I mean, I was so touched. Like
Right.
so I was able to sit and send him a, sympathy card. But he would have never, if I hadn't sent out my regular emails or my regular letters that I send, my letters of the heart, and send that stuff out, I would never hear from him.
Right.
So, that to me is so important that those people know that you care about them, right? And you can take a
Right.
couple
Right.
minutes
And
to send a little
people
sympathy.
don't realize their past customers are more valuable than the people they don't know, that they're out chasing. How do I get new leads? How do I get new leads? And I say, well, how many transactions have you done? Well, I've done 50 or 100. That's a gold mine right there. For repeat business, for referrals, and just sending the newsletter. Our product has a newsletter that's built in, and we just built an AI version so you can customize it and make it even cooler. But just sending out something every month that says, remember me, and
Yeah.
it's not I'm the greatest, I'm the biggest, nobody's better than me. It's more, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And your name's at the bottom. And with our newsletter, we put just general interesting information. It's not trying to teach you anything like rocket science. It's just like, oh, that was interesting. Oh, who sent this? Oh, that was Jeff. He was a nice guy. And then I'm ready to do another transaction and I'm top of mind instead of all the advertisements.
I have used that newsletter for years and years and years. There have been times, I mean, I've done a variety of different things over the years, but I've always at least sent out the email newsletter. But I've also had times when I've printed it, and you have the option of printing it and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. But to tap into what you were saying about, agents going out there and getting leads, I can't even tell you how many times I've stood up in front of a room of 50, 100, 200, however many people, and they're so willing to go spend $500 with Zillow, or,
Right.
pay $250 a month for these leads, or pay 50% referral fee, or sign up for this new whiz bang fancy something. But they won't spend the 30 or 40 bucks. I don't even know what all clients cost right now. They won't spend the, 30 or 40 bucks a month to have all clients. They won't spend, I go, how many people are in your database? They'll go, oh, maybe 150. I think the average is 200. So you could actually snail mail something for less than $200 in a month You don't want to do that. You don't want to send
Right.
out the free newsletter, but you'll go spend a bunch of money on Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever the leads are of the moment, the hot flavor of the moment. And they finally, usually when I'll say that, somebody will go, oh, because when you talk to those people and they've had 100 clients, I will ask the next question. Take 5 of those, your 5 most recent, and tell me, write down their names, Bob, Sally, Jane, Kelly, Bob. And next to their name, where did they come from? Oh, that's a past client. Oh, that was a referral from Bob. Oh, I met them at the grocery store. Oh,
Mhm.
like rarely, and depending on the team or whatever, but rarely is it that was a Zillow lead or that was
Right.
a, this or that. So though these are like, this is the most valuable data you can have.
Well, and these people already know you, like you, and trust you.
Yes.
It's not when you have to go find somebody new, it's like, I have no idea who you are. I don't know if you're going to rip me off. I don't know if I can trust you. I'm giving you my most sensitive information. You know, that's a whole different thing. And you should still do that, but it's the gold mine that's already sitting in front of you that people ignore.
It's crazy. So tell me a little bit about the AI stuff you're doing, because I don't know how that works. I'm gonna have to my assistant is in the background here. I'm gonna put him to work getting it all figured out for me.
So the AI newsletter we send a newsletter that's already got the articles, already has the pictures, and you could take that and you could just send that out, and it's perfect. And we've done that for 20 years, and it's
That's what I've been
working
doing the whole
great.
time. I did literally changed nothing. I changed my logo in there. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So the AI newsletter allows you to take our newsletter and plug it into an AI engine that we built, and you could take all the articles and replace them if you wanted. So we give you general interest, that could work for a real estate agent, could work for an insurance agent, could work for a restaurant, could work for a nail salon. It could work for anyone. But you might say, I want to be more specific about real estate in Sacramento. Okay, so you could type in the keywords and say, I want these articles to be about real estate in Sacramento, residential for first time buyers. Let's just say that was your specialty. And you can go in then, and the AI newsletter will write you articles based on that criteria. So every single article will have to do with Sacramento, real estate, first time buyer, residential, and you might be talking about how to stage your house to get the most out of it, but it will pull elements in there for context. So it
Oh,
might
wow.
say, oh, Sacramento is really good about this and this and this. And so therefore, so it feels like you sat down and wrote it, right? Because you can customize it, and then you can customize the picture. And now you've got not only a newsletter, but a custom newsletter that feels more like you wrote it, right?
That's
And
very cool. I'm going to
you don't
experiment
have
with
to
that
do
this month.
that. You don't have to use that, but you could use what we give you, or you can customize it, or anywhere in between. And then you've got a custom newsletter that nobody's ever seen. Articles are generated fresh, pictures are fresh. It's just kind of a cool thing. So that's the first thing we did. Second thing we did is in tags, and this really works better for brand new uh, brand new customers or brand new users. But in the tag wizard, you can say, my business is Sacramento, residential, first time buyer, create the tags. And the system, the tag wizard will go build you like 50 tags that are very customized, that might
Wow.
be tags that you didn't think of. And you can take one, you could take all of them. I want this one, this one, this one. It kind of gives you an ideas about, and tags, for people who don't know, that's one of the ways to segment your database. So a
That's very
tag
cool.
could be past customer and present customer and future customer, or a tag could be they live in this area or that area, or a tag could be they're retired, or it could be a lot of different things. But that's a tag wizard. And then the next thing, we're building an email. Right now, we're building an email AI wizard to help you write emails. So
Oh, wow.
it's just going to be little things that help you do things that may not be easy. Writing an email is not always easy.
Well, I went down the Chat GPT rabbit hole last year. I had a 9-hour flight to Miami and nothing but time on my hands and Wi-Fi on the plane. So I sat there and went down, and now I'm like nuts about it. Like, I mean, it's the coolest thing, because I think the thing that when I look back over my career, the things that have held me back the most are just sitting down and writing, right? Like, and I love to write in a lot of ways, but I just get so overwhelmed with the sheer amount of content and the stuff that you need to do, that it's just too much. And when I figured out that I could like plug it in, and the more you talk to a Chat GPT, the more it gets to know you and your style, and it will talk to you and talk in the way that you want it to. I'm like, it's a game changer, in my opinion, there's good and bad in everything, but it is an incredible game changer for what it does. And even some of the things I've plugged into Chat GPT is like, it's helping me with my meal planning right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what I've been eating. I got to lose some weight.
When I go out to barbecue, I say, okay, I've got a New York. It's 1 inch thick. How I'm going to do it on my griddle. What should the temperature be? When should I flip it? And I don't look at anything anymore. I just do AI helps me cook now.
Well, and it's so great because I didn't get this until my sister was just here visiting me a few weeks ago, and she's crazy and has figured it all out. She's super smart. And she goes, yeah, you use it like Google. I go, what? She goes, well, it's better than Google, because the problem is when you go to Google, it gives you all the sponsored stuff first, right? And then once you finish feeding through all of the paid advertising, then you got 50 million links you got to click on to try to find it is what you want. ChatGPT gives it all to you in one little spot. I'm like, that changed my life.
And it's always correct. Where
changed my life.
If you say, when should I take out my steak? You're going to have, Google's going to give you 1,000 opinions of what it should be. And AI is going to say, here's exactly what it should be. Don't look further.
I love it. And, so now I'm super excited about AllClients, because I mean, like I said, I've been a huge advocate of your guys for a long, long time. And I've always loved it. And so I was so excited when I actually got to, talk to the big dog last week, and, hear about some of the stuff that's coming soon. But I just encourage you, if you're listening to this show and you have not, and you made it this far into the show, this 30 minutes into the show, and you are not currently using it, we're going to put an invite link in our show notes. And because for me, well, let me just wrap up with my story about Linda Buckmaster so people can hear it, because it's so impactful. I sold a home to Linda in 1997, a $50,000 head home. And Linda, who's still around, she's an amazing human being, has bought and sold 8 homes through me. Okay. But that's not where it gets good. Linda has referred people who've referred people who have referred people who have referred people. 8 levels deep, still counting, over 65 referrals, over $400,000 in commissions from one $50,000 sale, 20, I don't know how many years ago that is. I can't do math, but a long time ago. And I just think that is what's valuable. And I love the fact that you said you guys are working with small businesses, because I think about, your carpet cleaner guy and, your housekeeper and your painter. And if they would just, like, I don't get mail from any of those services. I don't get an email. I don't get anything from anybody like that. And I would use it. If I got a reminder email, hey, it's time to clean your gutters. Right?
Yep.
I would call them. I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you for staying in contact with me. Even my car, I've driven the same vehicle every 4 or 5 years. I get a new one. never hear from my car dealership. And I've bought it from the same dealer.
Well,
And you don't hear
when
from
we go to clean our carpet, it's like, who did we use last time? I don't remember. When we
Yeah.
go to fix the heater, or who did we use? I don't remember.
Yeah.
And we just kind of go through a Yelp again and find somebody, and it's like, just send me something once a month and I'll remember you.
And it could be as simple as an email, your email
Yeah.
newsletter, that now you can customize that in your
Yeah.
guys' new AI, which I'm super excited. AJ, by the way, if you're listening, my assistant over there, we need to make sure we're using the AI newsletter in
Yeah.
all clients, because that's some cool stuff we'll be working on. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So I would, if anybody is still listening after 34 minutes, I think your audience can afford easy contacts. It's $1 for the first month. Can they afford that?
I hope so.
And then if they like it after a month and they keep using it, it's $9 a month. Okay. They're not going to, that's not too much for them. And it's going to change
That's
their
1.5
business.
lattes.
Right. It's going to change their business. And then if they use it for a period of time and then say, I want to do email now, I want to do some automation, they just press a button and they upgrade to AllClients, and they've got all their contacts and they already know how to use the system. And so we try to make it really, really easy for people to get started, and it's don't stay on spreadsheets.
Well, I'm incredibly grateful for you guys. Like I said, I have been a paying customer for at least 15 years. We're going to have to look it up and tell you how long it really was, but it's been at least 15 years. I'm sure of it. And I am so grateful all the time for being able to have access to that data and what that's done for me and my business and my career and everything. So you've done some world-changing things out there, including your world's oldest snowball.
Yes. Yeah. Just Google it and you'll find me there.
Yeah, I'm going to look in my AI, ChatGPT, and see what it says.
Oh yeah. Ask. He'll
Well,
know.
thank you so much, Jeff, for joining us today. Again, I'm a huge advocate for AllClients, and I'm grateful that you built such an amazing platform. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Go to allclients.com if you want to learn more.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us again on Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people, including the people who are making big changes in the way that we do business. If you're a small business and you don't have it, I encourage you to get it. If you have questions or need help, feel free to reach out. We'll definitely connect you and make sure that you're able to build your business on a database, which is important, CRM. Thank you so much for joining us. Go out and shine bright. Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in the real estate industry and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes, and while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others to find our podcast for show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry. Also, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email to get early advance notice of upcoming podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and go out there and be a part of the elite masterclass and raising the bar on the real estate industry.